What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, June 9th, 2025, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:49 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Russia and from Iran. Before I get into all that, I want to just show you what we have going on over the U.S. right now. We currently have two nuke sniffer planes airborne over the central and northern plains. We have one that was flying very low over Nebraska and South Dakota, and then there was another one that was flying over North Dakota and eastern Montana, and they both came out of Offutt Air Base in Omaha, Nebraska, which is home of U.S. Strategic Command. We also have a B-52 nuclear bomber that was airborne over Kansas, came out of Barksdale. So U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert again today. And we have some major breaking news coming in from Reuters. U.S. officials expect a strong Russian strike on Ukraine within days. Reuters, citing U.S. officials, said the U.S. believes the Russian response to the Ukrainian drone attack is not over yet and anticipates a multilateral strike. The Russian response will be disproportionate to the Ukrainian operation that used drones. Okay, so multilateral and disproportionate within the next couple of days. Okay, this is very, very concerning. Make sure you guys are getting prepared, because I do believe we could see mushroom clouds over Ukraine in the coming days, if not at some point in the near future. And the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Ukrainians need to pay particular attention to air raid sirens this week. And Trump had a meeting with his top generals and commanders at Camp David last night. White House officials said that he changed his plans to go home and instead went to Camp David to meet with high-ranking military officials. Guys, that is very, very ominous. We know that Trump doesn't like to go to Camp David. He never goes there, especially on a Sunday night. So something happened last night that prompted Trump to go to Camp David. Now, what's interesting is we had an Israeli Air Force plane fly over the U.S., and it was communicating on our primary nuclear war frequency and doing radio checks with U.S. Strategic Command on the primary nuclear war frequency. It went from L.A. to Delaware, and it actually overflew the Camp David area. It looked like it was going to land in Martinsburg, West Virginia, which is close to Camp David, and then it went to Delaware. So for some reason, Trump went to Camp David last night to meet with high-ranking military commanders, and we had that Israeli Air Force plane fly over the U.S. communicating with our nuclear forces, doing radio checks. And we're hearing that Putin will hold a meeting of the Russian National Security Council next week. So potentially that's when Putin could be making a big decision to potentially nuke Ukraine. And we have some major breaking news coming in from Iran. Iran conducted undeclared nuclear tests, according to an IAEA report. The report said that they conducted implosion tests. Okay, so if you don't know how a nuclear bomb works or nuclear warhead works, you need to have a priming charge, a primer, that sets off the main charge. Okay, so you have the implosion device that fuses the atoms together inside, and that causes the fusion explosion, the fusion reaction. So typically a nuclear bomb has a small fission bomb inside of it, and the fission bomb fuses together the hydrogen atoms, which then sets off the chain reaction that sets off the main charge. So it's actually like two bombs in one. So Iran already conducted tests of the fusion part of the bomb, the first stage of the explosion, the priming stage, okay? And that could be why we saw all of those mysterious 4.5 magnitude earthquakes earlier this year close to some of Iran's missile testing ranges and near their nuclear sites. And we were showing that to you guys live because the seismograms from those earthquakes look just like the ones from the North Korean nuclear tests. So this is extremely concerning. Iran is testing their nuclear warheads, and the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, said that Iran's nuclear facilities are buried too deep underground to be hit by a surgical strike. He said the most sensitive things are half a mile underground. I have been there many times. We're also hearing that Israel believes its operational window for a successful strike could be closing very soon, and this could be why Trump went to Camp David last night after this news came out about the implosion tests. And also today, Netanyahu had a phone call with Trump, okay? We know that their relationship has gone sour because of the Trump administration's negotiation with Iran for a nuclear deal, which I'm going to update you guys on in a minute here. But basically, Iran laughed at the U.S.'s nuclear proposal and basically mocked us, okay? They sent back our proposal with ridiculous demands. So Israel could be striking Iran very soon. And then we also have Putin getting ready to possibly nuke Ukraine. The Iranians told the IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi that if Israel strikes its nuclear facilities, this could push them over the edge, and they will try to create nuclear weapons, Grossi said on Monday in an exclusive interview with the Jerusalem Post. There was also an important statement by Iran's Supreme National Security Council released today. It said if Israel strikes Iran's nuclear facilities, Iranian forces will swiftly retaliate by attacking Israel's hidden nuclear sites. Any aggression against Iran's economic or military infrastructure will be met with a precisely calibrated counterstrike. Wow. So things are really getting serious, guys. It's coming down to the wire. Israel is going to have to strike sometime in the coming days or weeks because Iran is already doing implosion tests, okay? And Iran attempted to sanitize undeclared nuclear sites where man-made uranium particles were detected, obstructing verification efforts and raising further doubts about the country's nuclear past, the head of the UN nuclear watchdog said on Monday. Iran has repeatedly either not answered or not provided technically credible answers to the agency's questions. It has also sought to sanitize the locations, which has impeded agency verification activities, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi said in opening remarks to the agency's Board of Governors in Vienna. So, huge news, guys, okay? Iran is pushing full steam ahead with their nuclear program, and the IAEA is confirming that they have done implosion tests. Iran is threatening to strike Israel if Israel strikes them. And Iran warned on Sunday that a resolution by the UN Nuclear Watchdog's Board of Governors could prompt Iran to activate a new scenario in its nuclear program and escalate its nuclear activities again. The spokesman for the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran recalled that past warnings were ignored, leading Tehran to increase its 60% uranium production sevenfold, launching 20 cascades of centrifuges and installing new generations of centrifuges. So Iran is basically saying that if you try to sanction us or punish us in any way, we're going to speed up our program. And the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran has ordered thousands of tons of ballistic missile ingredients from China. Sources estimate that if delivered, the materials could produce around 800 missiles. Wow. So why are they suddenly buying thousands of tons of ballistic missile ingredients, okay? And Iran sent the U.S. a nuclear deal proposal after rejecting the initial U.S. proposal. The Iranian proposal would keep enrichment in Iran and force Israel to destroy its nuclear arsenal. Absolutely insane. So Iran is laughing at us, okay? They are not afraid of us. They're not respecting us, okay? They want a deal that's going to force Israel to destroy its arsenal while they're going to keep enriching uranium. Absolutely insane. So that just tells you that the Iranians are not taking these negotiations seriously. And hackers leaked over 2 million Russian military documents revealing detailed blueprints of nuclear missile bases near Yasnaya. The files expose tunnels, bunkers with Vanguard warheads, security systems, weapons placements, and evacuation routes. And over the weekend, Ukrainian drones targeted the Azot chemical plant owned by the Eurochem holding in the city of Novomoskovsk in the Tula Oblast, which is pretty far from Ukraine. Also, Ukrainian long-range drones have struck the Savaslayka Air Base near Nizhny Novgorod, around 650 kilometers from Ukraine. And a Russian MiG-31 and a Sukhoi 34 were destroyed in a drone attack over the weekend as well. And a military-industrial complex facility where antennas for the Iranian drones that Russia uses to attack Ukraine were also hit by Ukrainian drones. And the Ukrainians shot down a Sukhoi 35 fighter jet in the Kursk Oblast. They used an F-16. And Ukraine struck the Kazan gunpowder factory, which produces explosives for Iskander ballistic missiles, Caliber cruise missiles, and artillery shells. Wow. And Zelensky said the U.S. diverted 20,000 missiles intended for Ukraine to the Middle East. Zelensky also said Putin doesn't want peace. He wants Ukraine's complete defeat. He also said without U.S. aid, Russia's chances of victory are higher and Ukraine will suffer heavy casualties. Wow, so the U.S. diverting 20,000 missiles intended for Ukraine to the Middle East. What this tells me is that the U.S. is preparing for a showdown with Iran, and they're moving the missiles away from Ukraine to the Middle East, not because they want to punish Ukraine, but because they want to make sure that they have enough weaponry to deal with Iran. And Ukraine's Air Force said Russia used 479 drones and 20 missiles during an overnight attack over the weekend. That was Saturday night and Sunday. Absolutely insane. 479 drones. And France's defense ministry approached Renault to produce drones for Ukraine. So France is going to be producing drones for Ukraine. And we know that the Germans are going to be building a Taurus missile factory inside of Ukraine, and they're going to allow Ukraine to use those missiles with no restrictions. And a Ukrainian naval drone equipped with FPV drones reportedly attacked Russian special forces deployed on a gas platform in the Black Sea. So they hit some kind of gas platform. Finland will increase defense spending to 5% of GDP. And Russia's foreign ministry said NATO's reduction of forces in Eastern Europe will enhance the continent's security. So Russia wants NATO forces to leave Eastern Europe. And the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte will say in London that the alliance needs to increase its air and missile defenses by 400%. Wow. So guys, get prepared. The red lines have been crossed. Ukraine took out 30% of Russia's nuclear bombers. Iran has started doing implosion testing. So things are really spiraling out of control. And then on top of that, we have the chaos here in the U.S., in L.A. And we're hearing several reports now, including confidential sources that are indicating that rioters are set to target and shut down the Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, as early as tomorrow morning. Trump said yesterday that he will send Marines to Los Angeles if the situation gets worse. And the LAPD last night declared a citywide tactical alert. All available officers were put on duty, and additional units may be deployed as the situation develops. LA also shut down all of their trains last night. And now we're hearing that California is suing the Trump administration. The California Attorney General said that the federalization of the California National Guard was unlawful, and they're now suing Trump. And the California Governor, Gavin Newsom, said Trump is sending 2,000 National Guard troops into LA County not to meet an unmet need, but to manufacture a crisis. He's hoping for chaos so he can justify more crackdowns, more fear, more control. He also said Trump's actions are those of a dictator, not a president. Wow. So very strong words there from Gavin Newsom. Absolutely crazy situation in LA. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will continue to monitor all these events. Make sure you guys are getting prepared, because it looks like Russia's about to potentially nuke Ukraine or do something crazy over there. And it looks like Israel and the U.S. are going to strike Iran very, very soon. And this could all kick off in the same period of time. So get your preps in order. Make sure you have your bug out bags prepared. Make sure you have alternate power supplies. Make sure you have food, water, and self-defense tools, okay? And I'm currently working on a project with my radio. I'm trying to figure out some frequencies or different bands that I can transmit on after the grid goes down, so I can send out messages to you guys. I'm going to keep you updated and let you know which bands and which frequencies to listen to me on, but they're going to be in the HF range, okay? So you're going to need a radio that can pick up the HF bands. Right now I'm looking at 15 megahertz and 21 megahertz, somewhere around there. So check your radios. Make sure you can pick up HF frequencies. If you can't, you should invest in one that can. This way you can get my messages, and you can also listen to messages around the world and listen to other people around the world. It's just good to have as a prepper. But until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.